Hello, welcome back to Tactical Tuesday with Johnny Tiger. The date is Tuesday, October 6th, 2020. I have mentioned in the past how it is ridiculous that so many self-defense martial art instructors today go on and talk about the virtue of using your open hand versus your closed fist, like they just invented it, like this is some new concept that's just now been scientifically proven to work. Now, don't get me wrong, it definitely is valid. One primary reason why open hand is always better than closed fist, especially in self-defense situations, is that if I was to hit someone with my fist and I get them on the head or I get them on the elbow, and I get them on the hip bone or on the tip of the shoulder, there's a big chance of me breaking some or all of my knuckles or fingers. And once that is done, I can't use this hand for much of anything anymore. An open hand, however, has no such limitation. If I hit someone on the head with my open palm, it will shock their brain just as much as my fist, and it's not going to damage my hand at all. If I hit someone with my open palm and they put up their elbow to block, yeah, it would hurt a little bit, but it's not going to break anything. So this is the primary reason why open hand is always more preferable than closed fist when it comes to self-defense. Now, of course, some people say, well, that can't be right. How about all those martial arts that teach you how to punch? Boxing and kickboxing and MMA and karate and all that stuff. They all teach you how to use it. You don't see them slapping each other. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because most of those competitions, they are sport. Those martial arts, they're sport. They're made for show and tell. They're made for people to go out there and uh, punch each other silly, to beat the heck out of each other. So for that reason, and a lot of liability reasons, they have to wear protection. They have to wear gloves. They have to wear paddings, helmets, mouth guards, and so on and so on. So if you go out there and you start punching someone in the body above the head, and you got these boxing gloves, MMA gloves on, and no problem. It's not going to, well, unless you're a super hard hitter, but for the most part, it's not going to damage your knuckles, it's not going to damage your hand. But you're not going to walk around the street wearing boxing gloves or MMA gloves, or at least I hope not. So, using open hand is not wrong, but thinking that it is some new concept is quite ridiculous. In fact, for thousands of years, Chinese people have been focusing on using open hand in their various martial arts. Now, I am by no means a Chinese kung fu, or should I say kung fu, if I want to be authentic about it. I'm by no means a Chinese kung fu guru. I'm not a black belt or a master in Chinese kung fu of any style, but I have experienced and studied in both the snake style and the crane style. It just happened. Both of those styles are open-handed style. I have also dabbled a little bit in praying mantis, which is a half open hand, half fist style. So I'm no stranger when it comes to using my open hand. in combat. So tonight, I want to guide you guys through a little basic tutorial of the 9 ways of employing your open hand in combat that I know. Now, I have heard that there's actually 18 of these. There's actually 18 ways, 18 different ways to use your open hand in combat. But I have only learned up to 9. But even only knowing this 9, and believe me, every single one of these hand techniques, there are dozens and dozens, maybe 50, 60 different ways of putting them to use. So just knowing 9 will give you hundreds of different combinations, different ways of putting these to use. That if you practice them, you will find that some of them serve you really, really good. Open hand technique number 1 in Mandarin is called Tui, Twae, Tui. Translate as push. So number 1, push. Now, when we say push, it's not like pushing someone. It's not like pushing open the door. That's not what this is talking about. This is talking about the direction of your palm traveling. So push actually means punch. You would employ any kind of punching mechanic. All it is to keep your hand open and you want to make contact with the base of your palm, the part closest to your wrist, not the top. You hit with the top, you are going to hyperextend your wrist. So you want to keep the top flexed back a little bit. You can do a totally open hand, or you can, like sometimes I like to do is I'll curl my finger in a little bit, like I'm making half a fist and exposing the bone at the bottom of my palm this way. Why do I do it this way? I just find it a lot more solid this way. But it's all up to you guys. Keep your palm open or make half a fist. Curl your finger in a little bit. As long as you expose the bottom part of your palm, the part close to the wrist, and you make contact with that part. Any kind of punching combination you do with your fist, you can do with this push technique. So in another word, push is the palm version, open hand version of your punching combos. I can do 1, 2. I can do 1, 2, 3. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Anything I can do with my fist, any combo, I can do with the push technique. Number 2, opposite to the push, we have the pull. In Mandarin, this is called La, L-A, La. Contrary to what you may be thinking, when we do the pull, we do not grab someone and then pull them toward us. Eh? That is not how you do the pull with the open hand technique. When we say pull, we mean to use our hand to trap a certain part of the person. And whether we pull them toward us or we pull ourselves toward them. So, there's 2 ways you can do the pull technique. You can either do it with a standard, what a lot of us are familiar with, the monkey grip. You put your thumb and your other fingers all together, form a bunch together, and then you bend your hand in towards your wrist, so forming a bit of a clamp between your wrist and your bunched up hand, like a monkey. Okay. Then the goal of this is if someone was to reach toward me, I can drop my hand over theirs, trapping their hand or their arm between my hand and my wrist. This little hook between my hand and my wrist, and then pull them offline, pull them to the side. Okay, that is technique number one for pull. Technique number two, the second variation, is a reverse clamp. The reverse clamp. So rather than, again, we bunch our fingers and thumb together, but rather than bending it forward toward the bottom of our wrist, this time we flex it backward. So there's still a hook, but it is toward the back of my hand. The back of my wrist and the back of my hand form a niche that I want to trap the other person's hand in. So let's say the person reached to grab my shirt. I come from beneath, hook their hand with my wrist and my hand, that little niche that I formed by flexing my hand back, and then I pull them up to the side. And of course, once I pull them off to the side, I step in, and my hand is already retracted. I'm ready to throw a push to the face. So pull, push is often hand in hand, one after the other. Very, very fluid. Number three, the chop, like the karate chop, the judo chop. A lot of you know this one already. In Mandarin, this is called PPE, the chop. When you chop someone, you want to hit them with a section of your hand between the bottom of your wrist and the top knuckle of your pinky finger. That little 2-inch, 3-inch piece of your hand right there. Okay, you don't want to hit with your finger. You don't want to hit with your wrist. You want to hit with the meaty part at the bottom of your hand. Push, 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 push. And the P or the chop would often go at the collarbone, at the neck, at the throat, at the jugular, or right over the face. In that case, we want to break the nose and injure the eye with a very diagonal chop at the face. We do not want to chop horizontal at the face because if you go too low, you're going to get your hand messed up by the teeth. Okay, you want to go diagonal so you catch the nose and one of the eyes. Technique number four, the stab. After the chop, we got the stab. The stab in Mandarin is called 刺, C-H-E, 刺. We bunch our fingers together, thumb and all other fingers pinching tight to form a spear, and we thrust this out at the eye, at the face, at the throat, at the rib cage, at the kidney. 这 is in some ways one of the hardest things to master because you need to have strong finger and good form for this to work. But if you can develop this technique, all it takes is one shot to the throat and the fight is over. Number 5, the claw. There's many different ways of doing the claw, but I'm going to show you guys one of the ones that's almost a trademark move of mine. Of course, it's the tiger claw. When we develop the tiger claw, we do not want to slash with our fingernail. We do not want to just pinch. We want to utilize a push and a closing of the hand. So you need to have strong finger for this. There's 3 actions involved in a tiger claw: a push, a closing of the hand, and then a pull back. Okay? If I go at someone's face, I would be throwing my palm at their face like a push technique. But once I make contact, I'm going to dig all my finger in. My finger is going to snap shut like a steel trap, and then I rip it back. Okay, take whatever piece from the face with my hand. I'm going to rip whatever I can away. This goes for the groin as well. Number 6, the hold. Grab the hold. Grab hold of something. In Mandarin. Oh, by the way, the claw. Backtrack a little bit. Claw in Mandarin was called 抓. 抓. JWA. Now, next, number 6, the hold. In Mandarin, it's called 拿. N-A. To take hold of something. In open hand, one of the primary reasons we fight with open hand is we can transition to grappling at any time. So let's say I am exchanging blows with someone and I go in for a push to the face. Immediately, my same hand can drop down on their elbow, trapping their arm between my hand and my body. Okay, right here I got a hold. Okay, I'm not really grabbing onto it with my hand. I'm just using my hand to press it against my chest, trapping the hand here. And of course, once I get it here, the guard is wide open. My other hand come over with another push to the face. Or, well, since I'm not going to get fixated on just the open hand, an elbow to the throat. And then I step away. So a hold is that action where you use your open hand and the other part of your body to secure a quick hold so you can get that opening in there. It is not just grabbing someone's shirt. Number 7, the slap. Mandarin called pai, the P-I, pai, the slap. Now, this is not just like slap someone across the face, although that is definitely covered. The slap is any motion that is not that you're striking, but you're not throwing it like a punch. You're throwing it like you're whipping your hand at the target. As you can see, I can slap with my palm or the back of my hand. Any motion that requires a full body whipping of the hand at the target, that is covered in the slap category. Number 8. Now this concept is very interesting and it has a really weird name. In Mandarin, this is called Fo, F-O. Some people say Fu, F-U. Now, depending on which part of China you come from, Fu or Fo, both are right. This is translated as the touch or the caress. I like caress better, even though it sounds really weird. Uh, so, what is this? This is a very sneaky hand technique that I actually personally use a lot in close combat. Although most of the time people don't register it, because the whole point of the caress is it gives me information, it gives me control without triggering the person's defensive mechanism. Let me show you how. Let's say Bruce here grab a hold of my neck and I instantly go into a very hard line slap to the hand and try to jerk him around. Okay, that will trigger him to do something, or maybe I can succeed. But if he's strong and fast, by me jumping into action, it's going to trigger him to do something to defend against it. But if he's holding my neck, if he's grabbing my throat, and I go something like, hey man, hey, what am I doing? I'm passing my hand. I'm not even really touching his arm. I'm not grabbing his arm. My hand is brushing across his chest like I'm caressing his chest. Okay? In his brain, he goes into WTF mode. His brain is expecting me to attack the hand. His brain is expecting me to struggle. His brain is not expecting me to do something like this. I don't have to touch him on the chest either. I can do anything. Like I can do, hey man, brush gently over the face, the shoulder. Hey, shoulder down, chest. Okay, that instant of uncertainty this generates in him when his brain is trying to process what's going on is when I go into action. So I pass my hand over his chest, his brain going to WTF, and I hit his elbow and break his wrist. Okay, so the caress, the foe or fu, is a trick technique. It's a technique that is extremely useful when you want to win that fight on the psychological level. Last but not least, number 9, the disruption. To disrupt someone. This is called Zao in Mandarin. Zao, R-O-W. Um, but you don't pronounce it row. You pronounce it like cow, but with an R. Rao means to disrupt with your open hand. And this is another technique that I use all the time, especially in grappling or in very close fighting. This is one of those techniques that once you master it, will come across almost like magic. If someone was going to be throwing a kick at me, I just have to gently put my hand, open hand, against the middle or top of their thigh, or just to snag their pants gently. They try to kick. No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. They're going to have a hard time getting that kick off the ground. Just like if someone was trying to throw a punch and I put my open hand in their sleeve. Yeah, good luck trying to hit me. My hand is in your sleeve. You're not going to be able to throw that punch in. You try to throw your knee. I put my hand on the inside of your thigh and snag your pants there, your shorts, your pants. Try to bring that knee out. It's not going to work. They try to come forward at me. I put my hand against your nose. I don't even have to do anything. I just put my hand gently against your nose. You're not going to come forward. So it's to know where to insert that nice, gentle, open hand to disrupt the whole momentum of the person. So for them, it's like trying to fight quicksand. Thank you for checking out today's Tactical Tuesday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Wisdom Wednesday. For now, stay safe and have a good night.